In this video, I'm going to reinforce some of our constraint tools, and also it's a demonstration of extruding in two directions. So I'm going to start a new standard inch IPT, create. Now this particular object has kind of a significant part of the outline of it is circular, so it's a good idea to start with the circle. And in this case, I'm actually going to even start the circle at the origin. So I've got a 3-inch with a 1.75 hole. And let's use the line tool here. Now the geometry of this is such that this corner, there's a corner on the bottom that lines up with that. But I'm purposely not going to line it up because I just want to show you how to really use your constraints efficiently instead of worrying about if that's perfectly lined up. So I need to come up from this corner and I need to find a tangent point on this circle. Do not attach it to the quadrant because then it'll be constrained. So I'm purposely just going to click it somewhere on here that's not the quadrant, it's not the tangent. I need to do the same over here. This is going to end up being in a tangent point along here, but definitely not the quadrant. So let me put it somewhere where it's not a tangent, right? So tangent's going to be a smooth blend between the line and the circle. And then it's a pretty easy matter to fix it with constraints. But before I do that, it's probably a good idea to put some dimensions to control the shape. And see what happened. I lost that, so I'm just going to undo. No big deal. And I'll dimension that so that feature can't disappear on me when I turn this, when I go back, and I'll just double click that and make that 3. So now I've got that feature. So again, now let's fix those lines right there. So go up here and click on the tangent constraint and then click on the circle and the line. You'll see it'll move the line to that tangent point. And that tool is still active, it's still blue. So I can do the other line, other circle, and it'll move the line that way. So those are tangent points. That's what I want. Now the other thing, I'm going to hit escape, get out of that tool. The other thing I want to make sure I do is that corner right there needs to line up with the center. It's the center of the circle. It also happens to be our origin in this case. And the easiest way to do that is just to use this vertical constraint. So if you click on the vertical constraint, now make sure you click on the corner. It's not the line. Click on that corner and click on the center of the circle, and you'll see it'll move that part over, and now it's constrained, and you know it is because it turned black. There, we are definitely missing a dimension still. See that purple line? So we need this dimension here, which is 5. And then lastly, we need to trim that off. Remember, you can only have one enclosed shape when you're doing an extrusion. So there would be my shape. So I'll finish that. Extrude that. It's 1 inch thick. And that's really kind of the foundation for this shape. Let's continue building on that. So I'm going to make a new sketch on the side here. Use my rectangle tool. And don't go all the way over because it'll constrain it to that corner, because that's not what the dimension is. This is actually 3 inches there. And that's 1 inch, but it's already there, so we're good. Not sure why that's purple, but we should be okay. That's the only dimension I need. If I try to put a dimension on that, oh, okay, so maybe that line wasn't horizontal. That's a good indication. Let's go ahead and finish that sketch. Now what I could do is extrude this in this direction, spin the part around, make a new sketch, and extrude it in the other direction, the opposite direction. That's a lot of extra work. So what I'm going to do is just extrude it in both directions. So there's my shape. In this case, this rectangular area, it protrudes 1 inch out on this side and also 1 inch on the other side. So if that's 1 inch thick, I'm sorry, it's 1 inch, and this sticks out 1.5 inches. That's 1 inch thick, and it's 1.5 inches on that side. So that's 1.5. So the total length from there to the other face is going to be 4 inches. But remember, we're working off of this. So click on the asymmetric, which means it'll let you extrude in both directions with 2 different distances. And this distance here is going to be 2.5 because the 2.5. No, that's not right. Is that right? Yeah, it's right. 2.5 plus 1.5 is 4. It just looked, it doesn't look right, but it is. It's right. Just confused me with the point of view that we had. And we've got to put some holes in this part, and I'm going to just sketch on the bottom. You can definitely do it on the top surface as well. And those holes are 0.75. Dimension the locations. And then side to side, that's 0.75. I'll finish the sketch and do an extrude cut on the two holes, and they're going to go all the way through. Oops. All the way through. There we go. Let's try that again. I'm not sure what I brought with me. That goes all the way through. There we go. Let's spin this guy around. And lastly, we've got some fillets. For all these corners are rounded off, and they've got 1-inch radius. So that those outside corners, as well as those inside corners, get filleted with that 1-inch radius. Okay, so there's our part. And then you want to put it on a drawing sheet and add dimensions, and that'll finish that assignment.